Alright everybody, here we go. Game number 1, we have Bubble Squad going up against Google currently. It's the second day of the finals of the End of the Storm. No, it's actually, is it the third day, second day? Guys, I get confused. You are in the loser bracket. We are in the first round of the loser bracket. Gabi, thank you very much for the sub. And Bubble Squad in Google, well, it's our first game here on Sky Temple. Best of 3 series still. There's still a global ban on Stitches, but all of the other heroes are currently allowed. Patch is 6.2, of course. And I'm not alone today. I'm actually with Lowell, and we're going to bring you the coverage here. So Lowell, first question, right off the bat, you guys are already in the winner bracket final going up against Navi, so going to have quite some fun there. But now that we had the last patch since the last End of the Storm day, how important do you think is Li Ming currently in the meta? We've even seen games on the North American server just recently in the North America qualifiers where the hero wasn't even banned or picked at all. How hard do you think did that patch actually hit her?
I think she's still quite strong. She's still one of the best mages for sure. And like, it didn't change one thing. If you get one kill, it snowballs into chaos. So yeah, like that's still the same. It's just that I believe you require more setup than before, because before you could safely do everything by yourself. And right now, like let's say if you have a Muradin and he can safely stun, nothing changed. Like you're gonna do basically almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Bubble Squad still banning her out right away. I mean, Rhaegar as a first pick, we've basically seen that ever since he got changed, even with the recent nerfs to the hero and to the Lightning Shield in particular. It's like the most picked healer. It's actually pretty cool. You guys, for example, you play a lot of like Rhaegar Tassadar as well. Navi does that too, trying to combo that off with one of the melee assassins. Is Rhaegar one of the main reasons why we are seeing Illidan now suddenly back to business?
I believe so. It's like strengths overall work really well with Illidan. Like, you know, you can dive with him. Like the shield adds a lot to Illidan's threat potential as well. And then like, I mean, Ancestral has always been good with Illidan, but it's very hit or miss, you know. But yeah, if you can hit them, like it's great for Illidan. So yeah, I would say is one of the main reasons. And the other would be that there's a lot less stuns or shorter stuns in the meta, so Illidan can like be more free to play.
Well, for now we have actually, like for Bubble Squad, starting to go a bit into one of those burst combos with the Jaina and Muradin. I mean, Jaina in particular, of course, got buffed quite a bit. Therefore, she's currently picked a lot more than we see, for example, Khaldor, who has not really fallen off a little bit. He's still part of the meta, but he's not as much of a high priority pick anymore as he was before. We've even seen like a few of the Khaldor's player heading into the new Pyroblast. What do you personally think of that Pyroblast now? 100-second cooldown is pretty strong there, but the damage is not too shabby.
I still think that it's like a good choice right now. For like, depends on the situation, but already some players and some teams, like I believe Fnatic has already showed like a couple times that it can be used pretty well. So I don't know. I think like it's a good ultimate now in some situations, as before it was just bad all the time, right?
No, I actually like that we have like a bit of diversity with the heroic abilities. Blizzard overall has, I think, done a pretty decent job. I mean, ETC with Mosh Pit, sometimes also with his stage dive. A few of the other heroes that have now a viable second, as Johanna, for example, jumping to the backline with the Falling Sword. I kind of like that. I mean, Google right now, they actually do what we've been talking about a bit earlier. They go into that Rhaegar Tassadar composition that is starting to become a bit more popular. They play a Thrall over an Illidan currently as the melee assassin that they try to play with. And Bubble Squad, of course, they have to now think about what they ban out. I guess like a tank would make a lot of sense at this point. What do you think should be their priority on the bans?
Right now, I think like, especially for Bubble Squad, oh well, they went with a Greymane ban, but like, with picking the Muradin, they could deny the ETC and have the main T-tank on their side without having any on the enemy team, but they chose to go for the Greymane. They want to deny some more wave players, some more pressure. So yeah.
The ban for Google is a Zagara right now. I mean, Zagara is pretty strong at the bot lane, especially in Sky Temple. They have a Thrall, on the other hand, that could really try to just push up back a little bit. In a setup that Bubble Squad has, it looks a little bit like they go for one of those sniper comms. I don't know. When it comes to like the bans for Google, do you agree with that Zagara pick? Because while I agree that it's a very strong pick in general, I feel like Bubble Squad is currently threatening a lot of burst and therefore denying a bit of stun, like a Tyrande, that ETC that you've already been talking about, might have even been a bit better for Google to make sure that Bubble Squad does not get too much of a chain there.
Alright, the Raynor is surprising.
Yeah? But, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I don't think Google did either, because like, for them to ban Zagara, after seeing like the Muradin Jaina, they should be thinking that the enemy will go full burst anyway, full pick off, right?
Yeah.
So they were fine with it, and they were waiting for it. I hope so, at least. But yeah, now I guess like the Reynor surprises both sides, but I don't see Reynor being a problem for Google right now anyway.
I mean, like the one benefit of having a Zagara, if Google wouldn't have her banned her out, is of course like more into like Ring of Frost or also like the Blizzard that you have. They go for a Tyrael now as well, and Bubble Squad in general has actually like drafted a lot of Tyraels, and I have to be completely honest with you, I don't understand the way that they are banning these days. The draft for them seem to be starting to get a lot weaker, and a Tyrael, for me personally, doesn't make absolutely no sense here, considering that Google is not going into the burst composition at all. I mean, they're running this with the melee assassin that has full support at this point. Do you think that Tyrael is really adding something to that setup?
No, and to be honest, like I haven't like seen Bubble Squad play at all until now, so I really don't know what they're aiming for. But I guess they want to deny like to deny Sunderings or something with Sanctification.
Maybe.
We'll see how successful they get with that. But I mean, if Google goes Diablo now, the Tyrael starts making more sense.
Yeah, like against Diablo and the Apocalypse, I feel like Sanctification can be a little bit better, but overall I'm a little bit surprised that Bubble Squad does not try to synergize on that Jaina and Mirrodin that they locked down at the beginning of the draft. If you already threatened to go for such a burst-heavy comp, I feel they could have just continued with heroes like a Tyrande, a little bit more stun with that ETC if they wanted to build a double front line. But now they go for Morales there as well, so very little synergy actually between the heroes that they have there, so there's no potential to really put that Jaina and Mirrodin to good use, I feel.
Definitely, but like I don't at this point, like we could be surprised by anything. It might very well be a Judgment with Jaina flanking with Ring of Frost and Morales giving the steam drone to Reynor. Like at this point, like anything could happen, right?
I like the
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I like the Simron Arena. I actually personally believe that Judgment in this situation would be better. The problem that I have with the draft is that I already seen Bubble Squad in a similar situation where they played against a team that was also drafting around a melee assassin. Back then it was an Illidan, and they went for Tyrael and decided still to go into Sanctification. And I'm really not really a huge fan of Bubble Squad's current drafting. I mean, that Jaina Murder was a good start for them, but then afterwards they didn't really get a lot of synergy. I guess we're going to find out if the team is able to make that happen. Google, as you can see next to the Diablo, also chose that Lunara, so they have a lot more damage on their side as well with the range potential. Greymane was banned out, so Lunara is still a good option. Na'Vi plays a lot too. So guys, we're going to head into game number 1, Bubble Squad versus Google. Best of 3 series here at the end of the Storm Europe Finals. As I said, we're currently in the loser bracket, in the first round of the loser bracket, so one of these two teams will fall out of the tournament after the series. But let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into the game. Game number 1, everybody, and the series starts off on Sky Temple. We're in the loser bracket of the End of the Storm Europe Finals, and we have Google looking for an umbrella as always. They go up against Bubble Squad here today. To the left side of the map, we have Stalk on Diablo, Sphyxia on Lunara, Styr on Thrall, we have Endlander on Tassadar, and Unstable on Rhaegar. To the right side of the map, it is of course the Bubble Squad with ETF on top on Mirrodin, not showing us his Leoric and Tomb skills today. Phelox on Morales, Lumpy on Jaina, Lassif on Tyrael, and we are seeing Red X on Reynor. I'm not alone today. I'm actually joined by one of the Team Liquid players. I'm joined by Lowell here, and the two of us are going to bring you the coverage here of game number 1. So Lowell, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, thanks. Pretty fun to be here. Alright, already going for a tower.
Yeah, it's actually like kind of interesting. I mean, Blizzard was trying to avoid exactly that by making sure that towers hit now much harder against the heroes. But we still have a couple of teams that go for the early tower pressure. Do you really think that it's still useful, or do you feel like it's way too risky to go for it?
No, it's very useful, especially when you have tools like the vision here that make you know where people are, you know? So here they had like a clear 5 seconds, they used it, and it's great.
Yeah. So currently we're having, as expected, Thrall at the bot lane going up against Red X here. The rest of the team is just still rotating around. Stalk already jumping straight on Lumpy here. Has to be careful. And ETF is already on the case. Reverberation built for him. Good stun against Diablo. Immediately the Blizzard afterwards. And Stalk getting away for now. Rhaegar helping out with a quick totem here as well. So well, for now, talking about the talents for a second, we have Trauma Triggers, the level 1 talent taken as already expected. We are also seeing once more natural perspective for Lunara, Thrall with the Rolling Thunder, and Rhaegar is going for the Electric Charge over the Lightning Bond. Now, Lol, for me personally, I mean, you are one of the melee assassin players, you play a lot of Thrall, you play a lot of Illidan. If you are comboed with the Rhaegar, like, what do you personally think about the level 1 talent on Rhaegar? We've seen a lot of Lightning Bonds, we've seen a lot of Electric Charges. Seems so far that especially with the melee assassin it makes sense to go into electric charge, but that siege damage and lane pressure that you get with the lightning bond is pretty incredible as well. What do you personally think about the two talents? Do you think there's a clear favorite, or do you think it's really situational depending on the composition which one you should go for?
I wouldn't say clear favorite. Maybe it's more also like a preference of the support player, but most of the times we go for the range on it, like the radius. Just because like it allows you to poke like in a more safe position as well, and if you put it like over times, let's say stitches, and he's running with his ultimate in people, like it's really easy to hit everyone.
Well, for now we're actually seeing that lightning bond is, the electric charge is of course going to help, especially as you already said, if you go into the backline with a melee assassin there. We have advanced block, pretty standard talent so far. Red X and Stier currently still at the bot lane. Shrines, mostly like a split that we've just seen. A slight lead already for Google here in experience though, but negated nearly immediately by the opponent. Oh, and Tacita, Andiland in the mid lane, is in a lot of trouble. Stork is trying to help out, but he's a little bit too late for that. Yeah, ETS also now, of course, like jumping out here. We have at the same time, again, Snowstorm taken, amplified healing. So Tyrael going for a full heal build, actually, at this point, trying to go for the mass sustain. If you look at these two, like, setups right now, Lowell, what do you personally think what's going to be the most important part for Battlefield Squad, what they have to make sure in those team fights if they want to be successful here?
Alright, so what Google wants to do, they want to use Tral and Diablo to combo people. So basically what they want to do is start with Sundering and use Apocalypse behind it and stun lock enemy team. So basically Bubble Squad's win condition will be to negate that in a way or another, ideally with Sanctification, but we'll see. It will depend mostly on the Tyrell's reactions.
Do you think that it was a mistake from Google to actually pick the Diablo into that Tyrael that was already chosen for Bubble Squad in the draft?
No, I don't think so, because like as long as Diablo has the tools to be frontline enough, and he does have them because he has like a lot of poke in his team and double support, he can control the Tyrael and deny him the opportunity to use Sanctification. So like you're going to look for the Sundering when the Tyrael is controlled, basically.
Right now we have a massive commitment actually at the bot lane right now. The teams are trying to go immediately for it, especially like Google with a lot of power. And they want to of course take down that well, so that when we have the next temple announced at the bot lane, there's no chance for Bubble Squad to move back and heal up again. And so far it's actually looking pretty strong for them. We even have an adjustment now on Morales, not going into the potential cleanse here against heroes like Diablo and also Thrall, but instead going into Mule to heal up a few of the structures in the game here. What do you think about that choice? Do you feel like it's totally legit on Sky Temple, or do you feel like, considering that we have quite a lot of heroes that can lock you down, it would have been better to go for a cleanse here?
It really depends on the support player once again, because like some supports still like cleanse a lot, some hate it right now because of the longer cooldown, etc. So once again, I think it's the second time actually watching your stream that I see Bubble Squad picking Morales on this map. So maybe just like they really believe it's very strong to have Morales and the Mule on Sky Temple.
Could definitely be the case, and I mean one of the heroes of course that benefits really from Morales as well, we've been talking about it briefly during the draft, is that they have a Reyna here who with a hot attack damage can then with the Stim Drone really get a lot of DPS out in those fights, especially of course since he goes for a Seasoned Marksman build right now, which is going to help him towards the later stage of the game. Bambi already doing a fair amount of damage here as well, jumping in once again, trying to of course like pressure especially that front line. The shots are straight in the hands of Google though so far, and here comes once again the blue team trying to go for it, and they try to go for the kill. Phalux is already low, ETF jumps out, but Morales is dead, and now it looks like Lasif might fall as well depending on Stier, but apparently yeah, it doesn't have the cooldown ready for the Wolf and they don't want to dive the fort. So in that fight, what do you think they should have really done here? Do you think there was like any chance for like Battle Squad to take it? Was Morales maybe a bit out of position considering that she was one of the first heroes that got jumped and sniped?
Bubble Squad overstayed. Like they saw the rotations were happening and that the enemies were going to flank them, and they just stayed too long. Morales stayed inside the shrine thingy way too long and took too many risks. Google could even have jumped her much earlier and won the fight faster.
Google actually now with the pressure play in the mid lane again. They have the level 10 ability already, and that of course helps them even more to put pressure onto Bubble Squad. So they're trying to exploit the advantage that they currently have. Apocalypse, Thornwood Wine, Sundering, we have Tacita with a Forced Wall, and we also have now Ancestral Healing, so that's going to be super important, especially of course for Thrall at the front line here. Thrall these days, I mean, how would you rate actually like the melee assassin at this point? You've been playing a couple of Illidan again, but Thrall is still like the hero that is way more present in the meta. What would you say is like the better melee assassin, and in which situation would you like lean towards the one or the other?
I would say they're strong at different things. Thrall applies pressure through CC and will aim towards like to lead to a one-shot at some point. Meanwhile, Illidan just aims to overwhelm by chasing and being in the fight all the time. Like with the composition that that Google drafted, like ideally I would have taken another tank than Diablo, and I would switch out the Thrall for Illidan.
Okay, so Thrall for Illidan, and then already here another kill though against Jaina, and well, there's more or less that one-shot potential that you've already been talking about. ETF now also trying to just like stop them from eliminating that fort in the mid lane. And that is getting a little bit, yeah. I mean, at this point, Google is really starting to completely overpower the opponent here. At least they're on the same talent level now, but of course with Jaina dead and one of the main damage dealers therefore, there's very little that they can do. In kills, we have still only 2 against 1, but it's of course the structures that are being eliminated here. But Tyrael has taken the opportunity to at least move to the top and steal a few of those shots away, but Lastiv has to move back right now. Even though we have Jaina back to business, so Bubble Squad could actually try and start to fight here once again. Already starting to push in. When you actually like fall behind on Sky Temple, like what is the best strategy to really come back in a situation like this? So far we've seen a nice split between the top and the bottom shrine, so at least there's a bit of pressure that Bubble Squad can dish out. But this is like a map where we have a lot of stuff on the map available. Like you usually 1 to 2 shrines, you have the boss as well. Is this one of the best maps to start a comeback with rotations, or what do you think is the key to really come back from a bad position here?
I would say it's actually extremely like hard to come back on this map as opposed to others, as in the fact that as soon as you get a shrine lead on building, on structures, shrines will just slowly go and pressure the bar, like very like throughout the game. So it's actually much harder, I would say, to come back, and you have to look a lot more for picks, just random pick-offs on the map than on others, I believe.
Oh, Andialendi with the interrupt on a few of those town portals. That's a bit of an awkward spot. Nice combo from Stork here, going straight into the Apocalypse. They're trying to go again for Lumpy. There was a quick attempt on healing him, but Lumpy taken down. Sphyxy just following that up with another nice kill here. Jaina eliminated once more. Level 13 talents versus level 13 talents, but very little actually at this point that the team in red can actually do. Google is completely dominating this. They also had the boss that they took in the meantime and can now push the bot lane. There was only some power pressure up at the top, but that rotational flank up to the top lane then killed Lumpy again. Now we have couples therapy taken, the Thunder Strike, and Icy Veins, which is a little bit more popular actually these days over the normal Ice Block. Why do you think Icy Veins is suddenly becoming so popular on the European server compared to like a few weeks ago?
I believe it's just like there was a period with a lot of chain CC, and in which it would be actually hard to even ice block once anything starts, if you get caught by anything. So probably that's when it started. But right now I'm not sure about her choice. She just wants to maximize damage once a slow lands with the water elemental. So we'll see if it works for him, but
it feels a little bit risky considering that Jaina was one of the heroes the entire time that gets jumped first in every single situation. I mean, Stork is really looking for Jaina in every single one of these fights. Now they're already aiming for the first keep here, but with that temple being up and like 4 siege giants pushing the bot lane, this is really starting to look a bit troublesome. Relentlessly, they're taking a pretty good tool here actually. Once again, Sundering into the Apocalypse. It's a nice stun combo. Muradin about to fall here, is trying to jump out, but it's already too late. And Red X with that stim drone on his Reyna, but he is now being attacked as well. And there seems to be very little they can do. There's already 2 heroes down to keep taken as well. And Google is completely snowballing at this point. I mean, we have 23 extra damage on Reyna, but he's just not able to put the pressure out against Diablo. And it's actually interesting since Diablo is here currently the solo tank of the team, but they have Thrall next to him and a double support, so they are able to keep him alive throughout all of this.
it's basically it's the second time they pull off the Sundering Apocalypse combo, and at that point you don't even need the tank. If you land enough, if you eat enough people with the Sundering, and therefore the Apocalypse stuns like 2-3 people, someone will die. It doesn't matter what happens, someone will die no matter what. And from there on, as soon as you're like maybe 5v3, it doesn't matter if you're Diablo or if you're Illidan, you can tank.
Yeah, what Google is currently trying to do is, of course, like defend the top lane. They are still a little talent ahead, but we still have Bubble Squad chasing them away from the temple since they are 5 versus 4. But now Lastov stays quite long. He's trying to jump out with the Druid's Might, so they were able to sneak a few of those shots away. I mean, they were using that advantage that they had 5 heroes at the bot lane, and Diablo had to defend at the top one of those forts. But so far, they still need that level 16 talent. So, do you actually think that there is like any reason ever, unless it's really the final moment in the game, to fight against a team that has a talent advantage on you?
Oh, I believe it's totally fine, like, especially like if ultimates are down, but it's actually, the enemy team will not expect it, because when you have a talent lead, you feel safe, right? And that's actually something that you can abuse if you're the team that's lower level and lower talent. So yeah, as long as you get a clear engagement, if you can execute what your team comp is supposed to execute, you're fine.
Well, once again, we have Tacit actually like pushed back here. ETF jumps after him. Should have that Stormbolt any second right now. Currently healed for Morales. Andy Lendi has the Dimensional Warp now taken 2. Activates Prescience. Yeah, Lassiv is there, but the flank from Styr once again. And here comes the Apocalypse. They burst Jaina away once more. No chance here without the Ice Block to survive all of that. And here comes also the pressure now against ETF. He's being healed by Morales, but it's again a 4 versus 5 situation. And even with the level 16 talent, they are in a world of pain here. Tacita with the attempt to wall them out. Red X jumped again. ETF jumping out, but Diablo slamming him into the ground and ending him as well. 7 kills against 1 in this first game here on Sky Temple, and with that last keep already eliminated, it feels like they could go straight for core here. I mean, they still have the mana, they still have also, of course, like 5 heroes in, but they go for the keep, play it safe here. It is a loser bracket, and of course you don't want to make any mistakes here. Stalk has to be careful moving back, but yeah, at this point, do you really think that there's something... What exactly could you do right now if you were in the shoes of Bubble Squad? What do they really have to aim for? So far the fights are not going their way. Why do you think that is? Is it a composition thing, or is it just simply the way that they like engage into these battles?
I would say it's mostly a composition thing, but right now the only way they have to come back is to do what they did just before. They caught the Tassadar a bit out of position. Like, unfortunate for them, it was Tassadar and they had no way of killing him. But it's the kind of pick that they need to get right now if they want to have any chance of coming back. But as long as Google is on point with the Sundering and Apocalypse combos, it's going to be very, very hard for Bubble Squad.
And Google actually looking like pretty strong here right now in this first game, at least that is. And they have only 1 death on their part, and that's Tasta in the early game dying once. For now, once again, of course, like the 2 shrines active. We have Rhaegar at the top that leaves 4 players in the mid lane for Google, and they just accept that they will not get both of these shrines, both of these temples. So once again, the jump trying to maybe get a kill here. Bubble Squad really know that they have to do something now, because there's close to level 20 now for Google, and that means that that extra talent is going to come into play very soon. Nice attempt to go for Thrall. Good heals here once again. Here comes the Apocalypse after the Sundering, and they move it this time. No kill though, and Reyna's Hyperion zones them out for now. This might be the chance for Google to make a bit of a comeback happen. They go for Rhaegar, take him on, and that's a 5 versus 4 now in favor of Bubble Squad, and still 2 of those temples on the map, but the core is already being pressured by the Siege Giants at the bottom, and at the same time we have another camp moving through the top trying to eliminate the last 4 in the game.
That's the kind of pick-off that they needed. Once again, like, Rhaegar ended up being out of position during the fight. They could not get a kill. They might get one now.
Yeah, well, they were hoping for one, but now Jaina has to go back, and of course all these shots really start to damage the last keep in the game. And if they lose all of their keeps, then of course a single temple is going to eliminate them here. Lumpy with the defense, but yeah, that keep is more or less a goner. If the Mule... Nah, it's too late. Mule was like trying to heal up enough so that the final shots could be negated, but that's not the case. Level 20 talents are now ready as well, and that's of course once again in the case of Lunara, the Forest Wrath, having her with Starwood Spears. Nature's Culling, by the way, taken, not the Wild Vigor, which we usually see as the level 7 talent by most of the teams that play with Lunara. One of them, for example, being Navi. And we have like a double Storm Shield right now, Dying Breath as well. So even if they take down Diablo during the fights, there's going to be a second Apocalypse. Desperation move here now by Bubble Squad. They try to go for the boss, it's too late. Mirrodin down, and now the boss easily stolen away. Do you think it was like too obvious that Bubble Squad went for boss here?
It was obvious, but if they did not, Google would have gone for it as soon as as Rhaegar was back and close to them, and at that point it would be the same scenario for Bubble Squad. They would have no choice than to fight.
I mean, they lost already 70% on the core. It's basically a lost game already here for them, unless Google, of course, makes a massive mistake right now. Morales is dead, and so is Muradin still, and therefore the go for the core right away. Down here, we still have Lumpy whirling around with that tornado, going for a little dance, but the game is done, and we see a Google squad down one game. Google takes the lead in the best-of-3 series here at the end of the Storm Finals.
Really good execution by Google.
Alright everybody, the guys are really fast today. We're going into our second game already, Battlefield of Eternity, so they started the draft a little bit faster than expected here, but well, we are ready. So once again, we actually have a ban on Rhaegar here apparently over Li Ming. We've already talked a bit in the first draft about potentially seeing her a little bit more after the recent changes. Of course, we are currently seeing Bubble Squad versus Google here at the end of the Storm loser bracket, and we have Bubble Squad down one game in the best-of-3 series. Once again, with me is Lowell today, one of the Team Liquid players. They are playing tomorrow in the winner bracket final against Na'Vi, but for today he's going to join me here a bit for extra analysis. And well, at this point, with Rhaegar banned out, what do you think? How good are our chances of seeing Li Ming today?
I would say pretty good, especially considering it's Battlefield of Eternity. So, if she's safe in the backline, she can do a lot of damage to Immortals.
Well, for now, we have Li Ming locked down for Bubble Squad. I'm actually really interested to see how exactly Bubble Squad is going to draft here. They have a bit of an obsession going on with their Tyrael, and we've seen that in the last game as well. But throughout the last couple of series that they casted from them, they more or less consistently went for a Tyrael pick. Google, they really seem to like that Thrall combo that they had in the last game, and I mean, Thrall has been one of the priority picks throughout the last couple of weeks or months. We have him comboed off with Tacita, and I feel the beautiful thing about Tacita is actually... Oh, alright, thanks dude. Wilson, thank you very much, bro. That thing, I didn't actually lower that sound, that's actually like really loud. And the Greymane Chibi, of course, no problem, I'm gonna get that.
Congrats on going to Katowice, well earned, and bring on the Greymane Chibi.
Yeah, thanks dude. That with Katowice was actually like pretty fun. I'm pretty happy about that, as you can imagine. But as I was about to say, I mean, Tacita, what do you personally think about Tacita as a support? I mean, we've seen him a lot of solo support, but like the combos that you have as a double support for a melee assassin like you, that must be absolutely gigantic to know that you have that shield plus an extra burst heal from whatever healer there.
It's strong in both scenarios, be it solo support or double support, so that's why it's a pretty safe early pick, and so they went for it. I'm a bit surprised to see Thrall that early as well, considering you have a lot of options, I feel, this patch as melee assassin. So they must really just love those combos.
Or they hate Illidan.
That too.
And Lowell is like, who hates Illidan? Illidan is the best melee assassin in the world. Huh?
Right now I feel though that when Bubble will have to ban after what they just suffered the other game, they should deny the Diablo.
Yeah, it would make sense for them, I suppose. I mean, they at least also have ETC and Tyrande, and Diablo himself would, of course, be able to interrupt with the Apocalypse there too. But I like that at least Bubble Squad has now that ETC plus the Tyrande that gives them a little bit more early game pressure with the potential wombo. They have Li Ming as well, and that caters like immediately again to what we've been talking about before the games even started today, that you can still use Li Ming to blow up a target that you have locked down by stuns, and there is that Diablo ban. The last game was a bit of a lesson here, I feel, for Bubble Squad. On Google just used that extremely well, so it makes sense. For Google, they need a bit of range damage now, of course, as well. We still have Jaina out there. I suppose, I personally would say that they should actually pick Jaina, even if it's only to deny it to Bubble Squad. Do you think that Li Ming plus a Jaina would be a good choice, or do you feel it's like too much focus on cooldown-based damage?
I wouldn't be sure how good it is, but now that they have ETC and Tyrande as well for it, it's just too much lockdown. Like when you with the slows, the stuns, it's really easy both for Li Ming and Jaina to land everything, and at that point, I think it's just too dangerous to let enemies have it, especially when like Google could use a Jaina right now.
Yeah,
it would be really strong for them.
We have also like a Muradin still left if they wanted to use that with the Thrall. I mean, we've seen like, of course, Muradin a little bit less now that the auto stun is gone with the Avatar, but he's still quite popular. ETC has been taken, so Muradin would support also you with an additional stun. We've seen a bit of a rise in Johanna as well, which can be used for similar means. But they actually go not for that Jaina. We see them for Falstad Greymane. A lot of auto attack damage from Falstad and Thrall. We're having Greymane then at the same time with the potential to just like go straight in for the additional Q. For Bubble Squad, I mean, like, if you think about it, do you really feel like Tyrande can still be a solo support? Because if that question is answered with a yes, then a Muradin plus a Jaina might be absolutely fantastic here. You have, like, so many stuns, you have so many damage behind it, you have the Reverberation build against Falstad and Thrall. Do you feel like Tyrande can still, like, work as a solo support? We've seen most of the Tyrandas these days being comboed off with second healers.
I'm not a fan of it, but people still use it. Let's put it that way. So they might be aiming for that. I'm just not sure how strong it is.
Yeah, at this point, I'm really like eager to see how Bubble Squad plays this, because if they really are willing to play Tyrande solo, I feel like there could be such a huge stun and burst potential here with Li Ming, a potential Jaina, but they go for a Vala here, it seems, so they have a little bit of poke from the distance now if they also go. I mean, on this map, you can either go multi-shot build or you can also like go for the arrow build. Multi-shot would give you more wave clear, but we only have 2 of the lanes, and if you really want to like dish a bit of damage out there, you can of course use the arrow build for the immortal fights now too. Zagara has been banned out, so there's also not the threat of like being a couple of roaches and hydralisks running around that soak up the damage from the arrow. But I'm very, very curious to see what Bubble Squad takes as the last pick right now, if we're going to see a second support or if it's actually going to be another frontliner for them. And
Alright.
again,
I wanted to say it, you know, but I was like, would it be too trollish to say like, oh well, just another Tyrell pick? But,
I told you, they have a Tyrael obsession.
I don't know, like, the end of their draft does not make too much sense for me, but we'll see.
Alright, so the Tyrael is being picked again. I mean, he provides you with a couple of shields. Tyrande is going to be thankful about that, but then again, ETC can of course also go into a groupie build, can, I mean, even go to proc rock at level 1 if they really think they need it. Usually we would go still into the power slide talents, and Google is probably pretty thankful that that Muradin is still open. I don't really think they felt that would be the case, but yeah, so they have Muradin now after all. They picked Greymane Falstad first, can still take their Muradin, and that allows them to get the additional stun in there. They have a really sick setup. I mean, Thrall these days is more or less like a Sonya type warrior, so you can even put him next to Muradin at the front line, and I'm a little bit curious to see how that's going to work out, because now you have the Stormbolt as an interrupt for the potential mosh pit, you have Thrall with the Sundering, you have on 16 Falstad with the additional stun as well, but when we're looking at Bubble Squad, then we have still a lot of burst with Li Ming, and Jaina isn't even taken. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it does. But just to come back on one thing, like, we really need to insist on how happy Google must be right now, because the way the draft went, they were fully conscious and they were giving up on Muradin, and they end up getting it for free in the end. So like, right now for them, they're like, all right, boys, let's get in the game.
Yeah, I expected Muradin to be taken by Bubble Squad as well. I really thought they would go for some heavy burst comp with the Muradin, maybe even add that Jaina or a heavy auto attack damage dealer, but a Jaina. Think about that burst. With ETC slides in, Muradin hits a Stormbolt, after that Tyrande goes for the extra stun and vulnerable, then comes Li Ming with the damage, and Jaina says like, alright, if the target isn't dead now, or if it isn't dead yet, then I can still go for my Blizzard. But well, that didn't really work out that way. So guys, we're going to jump into game number 2. Let's see if Google can actually round this up with a second win, or if Bubble Squad is going to come back into this best of 3 series here. Battlefield of Eternity is the map, and we are still here in the loser bracket at the end of the Storm Europe Finals. So let's jump right into the game. Game number 2, everybody. We currently have Bubble Squad down 1 game in the best of 3 series here against Google. To the left side of the map, as you can see, Google with the lead. We're currently looking at Stalk on Muradin. We have Unstable on Tacita, Sphyxia on Greymane, Styr on Thrall, and Andy Lendy is currently playing with Falstad. We have ETF on top at the same time now, also on playing with ETC. We have Phelox on Tyrande, Lassif on Tyrael, Radix on Vala, and Li Ming is played by Lumpy. So in this case, we're going to see Li Ming for the first time after the recent patch changes. We had a couple of changes to the hero. Overall, the numbers were tweaked down a little bit, and of course, we had a couple of like talents shifted around. As of Yon being removed as a level 4 talent, and therefore no potential interrupts anymore against a lot of these heroes. ETF apparently has to reconnect and got a bit of a bug. As I said already before, I'm not casting alone today. I'm actually casting with Lowell. So yeah, what do you think about like Li Ming's impact now, and especially like potential changes to builds after the recent patch that we saw?
As I said, it's like you cannot set up everything by yourself anymore, but the damage is still there, and get someone to set it up for you, a good stun, etc. Well, the one-shot potential is still there, and here on this map, they can get really big damage on the Immortals thanks to just Li Ming spamming spells from really safe distance.
Yeah. So we actually like have ETC now as a potential start with that stun combo. We also have like that Tyrande. Kind of expected that Meridian to be chosen by Bubble Squad, but they decided to go for that Tyrael again. But of course, if Li Ming can combo off that extra damage, that would be quite nice. It's actually kind of interesting, I said it before, but in the North America qualifier for Enter the Storm, we have even seen Li Ming ignored during certain drafts. Now that, of course, they got changed a little bit. And especially with the remove of the S of Johan on level 4, it's a lot harder now to hit a lot of the combos that Li Ming has and make those plays, because back before then you could actually like really abuse that a lot, and it's one of the main things that players have been complaining about. ETF seems to be back, but they have an immediate pause again, so apparently like a couple of lags. I mean, we can talk about the level 1 talents. Astral Presence has been taken again, so that talent was also changed, for example. I mean, it's now when you're below 20, the regeneration is increased, while below 25% mana. If I'm not wrong, I think it was like 50% mana before the patch, which was actually pretty incredible as well. So Blizzard trying to just like tweak a couple of the numbers to make sure that the teams or that the hero is a bit more balanced, and therefore we are seeing her also like in play now. But this is also the first time where we can experience if the hero is still too strong, at least for the European scene. Oh, well, already. The one thing that Li Ming can still like do, which is absolutely insane, is burst down structures. I mean, she is really damn good at that.
Yeah, as you can see, like those top towers already suffering from the Qs of Li Ming.
Well, Stork goes in, straight for the first Stormbolt here. Was nicely hiding in the bush there. Red X trying to get the damage in, doesn't even hit though in this case with his missiles. We already have now composite arrows taken. We have at the same time down to the bottom of the map Sphyxie and Lassive, the two heroes on the solo lane, with a bit of a rotation from Thrall, trying to pressure Tyrael now as well, but still 3 heroes up at the top, pushing the quad lane back. ETF nearly falling here. Greymane, of course, with a perfect aim. Reverberation build chosen for Muradin here to slow the auto attacks down. And talking auto attacks, we have again Falstad going into the auto attack build with his Seasoned Marksman. So on this map, of course, he's going to try to get that stacking process going, but most of the other heroes have actually not taken stacking talents. Just a few exceptions like Tassadar and also Tyrael.
Well, Greymane swapped lanes. Both of them will win the matchup against Tyrael pretty easily. And Greymane like already forced Tyrael to tap, so you won't have a tap for this mortal phase.
What's actually like your personal take on like stacking talents in general when we're talking about not Seasoned Marksman but about Regeneration Globe stacks, like when Tyrael, for example, the Regeneration Master? Do you really think the talent is needed, or do you think that in this case he could have gone for the extra damage here and the cooldown reduction?
He really needs to survive, so it will be starved on globes, but I still think it's when you have to choose between survivability and damage, if your only goal is to survive fights, a bad survivability talent is more beneficial than a bad damage talent.
Well, for now they are trying, of course, like to defend, to go for the Immortal here. They have actually already put a lot of damage onto the Immortal of Google, going full attack here. None of the teams on level 4, and they will be able to claim the first one here. So Bubble Squad, they get the first Immortal. They've chosen a multi-shot build, by the way, on the side of Vala. And we're also like seeing now at the same time the level 4 talents coming into play for the opponent. And in this case, it's the Sledgehammer that has been claimed here. So Sledgehammer with the extra damage also against the Immortal can be quite nice. Google is going for the draft overflow now. So Cocktail build is basically like the standard of Greymane these days. Go full Cocktail. We're having again Thrall with the Lightning and Roll the Thunder going for Chain Lightnings. And Tyrande again with a pretty interesting build. Now this is something that Bubble Squad has done in the past. I don't really like it, and I would really like to know your take on it. if you play with Tyrande as a solo heal, I feel it's absolutely mandatory to go for Empower and Pierce so that you get the extra cooldown reduction, and then maybe even going into a battle momentum so that you can spam your Shadow Stalk and your heal a little bit more. They decided to go instead into the Ranger's Mark. Do you really feel that this is a good choice, considering that they're only running with one healer here, or do you feel that's absolutely alright?
I really think that the cooldown through Owls is a better choice. But
Yeah, it feels like right now they are trying to go for like burst damage a lot, but I don't even think that they are going to get a huge amount of value out of that Ranger Mark talent. At least so far that wasn't really the case.
Right now, he mostly picked that to damage Immortals, like completely discarding his role in the team. Just they got the first Immortal with it, and that's what they will aim to do every time.
Rubius on 13 should help them a little bit, but right now also we see poke from the other heroes. Puncturing Arrow, for example, after the Composite Arrow, so going for a hybrid build on Vala, trying to get the max amount of damage out there. If they really want to go for max damage right now, what we're going to see on 7 would be the Repeating Arrow, so that you get the double arrow in as well, then they can try to like burst down an Immortal pretty easily. Triumvirate has, by the way, been taken as a level 4 talent now that Esophion has been removed on Li Ming. So we're gonna see her, we're gonna check her damage a little bit later then in the game. Give you guys a bit of an idea of her output. Top lane with Fawcett and Vala still against each other. And now both of the teams, of course, heading straight into level 7. What do you think is right now the most dangerous part for Google, really, considering all that burst? There comes also the Repeating Arrow, all that burst. Do you think they're gonna have a lot of trouble with only Tassadar as a support here on their side?
I really don't think so. They should just play relatively passive until 10, and with ultimates they will have really good fights. I just don't think they need to greed any fight before level 10. If they have to give up another Immortal, it's totally fine.
Yeah, first Immortal didn't really do too much for Bubble Squad just yet. But Bubble Squad is now also on level 7. We have that Repeating Arrow. We're seeing also the Vengeance talent taken for the Orb. And well, for that, for example, you have again that poke that we've been talking about. So a lot of like poke talents in general. Talking about Vala, talking about Li Ming, having also now Pierce and then potential Ranger as a follow-up on Tyrande later on. Again at the bot lane though, that aggression, Sphyxie is getting away as the Tyrande stun is not hitting here. So Stalk and Sphyxie still alive, and during all of that time already some damage against the Immortal of the Reds team. So far Google is looking pretty strong in that second Immortal phase.
Yeah, because Bubble Squad committed for a kill bot, which they should have had safely. They just missed a skill shot. But yeah, they paid for it by losing some of their Immortals' HP.
And now camp is being taken while the Immortal is already under attack. I mean, if Lasov and Phelox get the camp here, it will push the top lane a bit. We have, by the way, still 2 heroes at the top lane, trying to make sure that they soak the extra experience right now. And if they make that happen, then it could, of course, like, slowly and steadily get that advantage on level 10, but we still have even experience. So again, the poke from a distance, nice damage against Unstable in particular, and he apparently dropped. Yep, they paused the game immediately. You could already tell that there was some kind of problem, since he did not even try to move out and was just like standing there. But well, as we have a bit of a break, we can take a closer look at the damage. So right now we have Li Ming actually with nearly, well, with 10,500 damage. The highest damage on the board without heroic abilities, of course, really early still yet, just to have a bit of an idea, but already with that orb spam that we see in the missiles, very solid damage, especially also in siege damage since he's just going for those towers. Is that actually one of those things? I'm not quite sure how I feel about like that damage against structures. Do you feel like there should be something that prevents him from sniping towers this hard?
Yes, I think that especially the amount of early damage she can do to towers is too high, and it allows you to get like XP advantage just through one pick, safely getting towers, which I think is just wrong. But for now, like Google has been able to keep up in XP, and as we saw with this Immortal phase, what they will try to do every time is to just go through poke on the Immortal, like long range cocktail, storms, etc. And if they can do that safely for a while, they will be totally fine.
Yep, they've been so far doing a pretty decent job, and they have the lead as we've already been saying. So the Immortal is down to half health, so the game is back to action. Here comes the potential Stalk against Stalk. But yep, they're moving back
Good
for
jump
now.
On the stun is safe for now. They should not greed this one, as I said before.
No.
Like, it's totally fine for them to wait level 10.
Yeah, well,
right now they can just defend with poke as they are doing with cocktails, etc.
They're using Falsight at the top lane right now for some experience, but the stun against ETF. and that opened up an opportunity for them to nearly take down ETC. So pretty well done here, but the immortal damage is now in again. Switching positions took a little bit longer. Andilendi still soaking experience for a bit of a lead. Val at the bot lane is doing the exact same thing. And over here in the middle, Google still poking from a distance, but unstable, as you already said. I mean, like, he has been poking the entire time, running out of mana right now and needs to come back.
Bubble Squad doesn't know that yet. They're moving in for the enemy immortal now, which they should not get punished too hard for right now.
Yeah, well, they can still use Li Ming to really dish damage, and as you can see here, top lane, false set is still there. Greymane has bursted away down to the bottom of the map. They're trying to go for the heroic ability. If they actually hit that in time for the immortal, and they very well could, then they would have a massive lead here and force Bubble Squad back once again. And Falset is trying to do exactly that. And it feels like we're seeing Bubble Squad starting to retreat here. They again move down to the bottom. They put Vala and Li Ming on lane. Li Ming actually starting to well up again. And at the top, we're now seeing Andilendi going straight for the last few minions. And there's their heroic ability already using, well, basically everything that you would expect here. With the Mighty Gust, Sundering, go for the throat again as the heroic, and they go straight for Immortal number 2. So a very, very nice play here actually by them, delaying the Immortal long enough so that they could get level 10. It looked actually like Bubble Squad should be able, with all the damage potential that they have, to burst the Immortal down and secure the second one for themselves. What do you think?
The problem is mostly that they were very, very scared to engage like even a 5v4 for quite a while, Bubble Squad. So they just let Google soak for a long time, and then when Google managed to move even Greymane there, and it was 4v5, and Falstad can just fly in any time, Bubble Squad was just too scared to do anything. So that's when they moved back down.
Yeah,
From
well,
there it was lost for them, the Immortal phase.
Yeah, for now we have the Disintegrate taken, Strafe as well, already used to just zone it a little bit and push everybody away from the Immortal so they can't be bursted down. That might save them the fort, just barely. At this point it looks like they're just losing it. I mean, it was actually like a smart move on Vala, just like pushing them back with a nice strafe. Everybody else had suddenly the space to go for the Immortal, so they did that. But in this case, they couldn't really take it down. We have still in the heroic abilities now also this Integrate taken. Shadow Stalk on Tyrande, level 7 for her. It gave us Lunar Blaze. We have the Mosh Pit. And of course, that's a potentially a lot of damage. I mean, basically, if you're going to Sanctification and also like ETC, it's a bit like the Poor Man's Divine Shield that was used back in the days. If you combo the two of them, then you are more or less, you have like a safe Mosh Pit that you can use for damage. And if they get a decent Mosh Pit and Li Ming can put the damage in, it would of course be great for them. But for now, it's just like really trying to get back in experience, because Google has taken a solid level now on Bubble Squad.
Yeah, and it's about to get even much bigger, because during all the Immortal push bot, Falstad did a lot of work top. The fort is basically at 30% HP, and it's gonna be taken down right now.
Yeah, they're going straight for it, and of course Vala alone has no chance of really defending against this. Could have even like tried to greed for a kill here, but they didn't really know about the rest of the heroes, and you don't want to risk anything there, especially not if you're so close to level 13. Stalk is dodging that orb for now, so Li Ming not really getting all of that damage now in. This is like one of the problems that Bubble Squad had. Like, they never really could combo the ETC and Tyrande off properly so that they could get the Li Ming damage in. Here comes the Disintegrate though, but immediately using False Set to push everybody away. Li Ming cannot get the damage in. ETC is blown to pieces, and Bubble Squad is once again on the back foot here.
The problem Bubble Squad is having right now, all the time, is that ETC is overextending every fight. Literally every fight. And he's getting caught, and he's getting poked down to 20% HP or killed. So it's really, really hard for them to do anything.
Yeah, and as you can see, like, if Falstad actually like uses that Mighty Gust right after Li Ming starts to put their damage in, and the heroics are being used. I mean, in this case it was actually great. Disintegrate was started, Strafe was started, and Falstad immediately uses his ult, pushes both of them away, and they don't get any damage out of both heroic abilities. So it was a really nice move here from Falstad's part. We're having 13 talents now for them too, and that gives us a double Giant Killer here. Thrall committing to it as well. Goes for the follow through with the Giant Killer here on top. And no, it's 13 yet on Greymane, but of course that extra talent is giving them a lead. Unstable has to be careful though, he's very, very low here and has only his shields, very little self-heal. We have again the running wild taken for the increased engage and disengage range.
Right now Google can just wait 8 seconds, get Sundering back and threaten to hard engage. So Bubble Squad needs to be scared.
Yeah, Muradin is already in. Here comes that orb again, hitting a little bit. Steers at the front waiting for that Sundering, and they are already moving up to the top to make sure that they take down that Immortal. That would be the second Immortal for them in the game here, actually. And the top lane is still being pressured, by the way. So that camp that was taken earlier was well timed. It's not going to do too much, but at least it's going to keep that lane pushed in quite a bit. Google, I mean, they have still that lead in experience, so if they want to use that, they have to make sure that they do that before Vala bursts too many of the waves away up at the top lane. Bot lane has now also been cleared by Falset and Tassadin, and they're starting to move in once again, and Google is starting to commit here.
Brawl can safely rotate around and look for a Sundering at this point, which he will probably do. So we'll see how Bubble can react to that, but for now they're just playing on the defensive around their Immortal, trying to soak XP top.
Yeah, they're just trying to delay this a bit so that they get the level 13 talent. I mean, for Bubble, it's a very uncomfortable position right now. They need to rotate someone to the top lane to soak a few of the waves at the same time that exposes them at the Immortal. Stalk is starting to go in. Here comes that lockdown that we've been waiting for the entire game, and finally it's there. They get the kill. Sanctification is keeping ETC alive a bit longer. Stier also taken down. Bubble Squad with a great opportunity, and they use it immediately. They go first of all for Muradin, blow him away, take down Thrall as well. Now they have the level 13 talent, and they have a 5 versus 3 situation to go straight for the Immortal once again. That was a very fast turnaround there. It looked a little bit like Google was just like feeling pressure to use that level 13 talent advantage before Bubble Squad would be able to get the next level.
Which was absolutely not needed, because as you see, like the Immortals HP, just 1 or 2 more storms from safe distance and they would have transitioned. So they would have been totally safe, but they lost patience and Muradin went in melee and got punished for it.
Yeah, now Li Ming with the Illusion is taken. So once again, a build currently with the Astral Presence, Triumvirate taken, Size Vengeance, we have Disintegrate, and now Illusionist as the level 13 talent. So a few adjustments over the builds that we've seen before the patch hit. I mean, of course, on level 4 in particular, with the S of Johan and move. Again, teams moving in at the bot, strafe to zone them out, and Bubble Squad is being pushed back here. The fort already gone, and sorry, Google is pushed back. Bubble Squad actually starting to really put some pressure on. And that Immortal has still quite a lot of hit points. They might be able to break through the wall, and Stalk already attempting to go in from behind.
Sundering
and maybe
is available.
Starting a hill. There's the Sundering.
Interrupted.
But still, yeah, Muradin had to jump in.
They will try to re-engage in 3 seconds.
Yeah, Muradin is already there. Thrall, yeah, everybody is just like moving away already. They got the wall, and that was all that they could really hope for here. Bubble Squad is still a bit behind in experience, but that interrupt on Thrall was super important in this case.
Definitely. I feel like maybe Muradin could have showed a bit earlier and pressured the enemy team more. But he ended up taking his time, and Thrall probably went for the Sundering too early. Cannot blame him for that, because like he saw a really good occasion. I would have done the same thing. and it ended up not working, but it's fine. They didn't lose a keep. They just lost an opportunity to get a couple kills. They're still totally in the game.
Yeah, Google of course is like still way ahead in experience, can rely on the level 13 talent a little bit sooner. In damage output now we have actually Vala ahead of Li Ming, currently at 33,000 against 32,000, 28k on Thrall. And again the move down to the bottom of the map where we have ETC, yeah, dancing around with Muradin here a little bit, but nobody was really like jumped here. And of course now with the next Immortal being announced soonish, we still have like the 2 camps on the map, or like one of them on the map, which both of the teams are dancing around a little bit right now. We have 2 kills on each side. And in terms of level 16 talents now, of course, also that advantage for Google, with especially the Stone Form on Muradin. Falset flying in now too, and yeah, with that extra talent they are trying to steal the camp away. Or at least secure it.
Yeah, they're just trying to force Bubble into a mistake. We'll see how they react to that. Alright, they're just giving up the camp. I believe that's the safest call they could do.
Yeah, and the Immortal is going to be up in like 6 seconds. Vala's already starting to push the top lane, and that gives them the extra experience for level 16. So it's once again going to be a fight on even talents, but with a bit of a time advantage, we could actually see that Immortal burst down to roughly half health already before Bubble Squad is even there with everyone. They are starting to finally move in, but Vala still had to take down that Shaman, who's still alive, by the way. So that's a problem.
If Google gets to start damaging an Immortal before Bubble Squad, they will win it all the time. With Falstad, Thrall and Greymane, that's a really, really high damage team.
Oh, nice jump here by Stork, getting out of there, so the combo for now is down. Here comes the Disintegrate and also Strafe. So a lot of the heroics at this point gone, and we only have Mighty Gust down on the side of Google. So a very nice position for them to engage into a battle here, actually. They still go and guard their own Immortal first. Unstable is rather low, so he could move back to Well and try to just like get his mana and hit points back. Has to like turn around right now though. ETF is still there. He has his Mosh Pit still up, could still use that. But we have Stork also with the Avatar still available. So is also the Sundering. They're waiting for a chance to use that. Mighty Gust is going to be back in a couple of seconds as well, but Unstable really needs to go to the Well. That's what he does now first. Well's up, make sure that he has the hit points back. And this situation still looks pretty decent for Google, as long as they use the time when the two heroics are down on the side of Bubble Squad.
Yeah, they still have a good advantage, and they were waiting for Mighty Gust to be available again, so that they're much safer. Because even if Tyrell gets a Sanctification and saves the Mosh Pit of ETC, the Gust will just knock the enemy, like, the follow-up away.
Now we have all of the heroics again off cooldown though. A nice poke against the Immortal. Looks like Google could actually take this. Here comes ETC though. They're trying to lock Muradin down. The Gust saves him though. Well done. He has Strafe in the back again. Sanctification as well. A bit of an awkward spot, but of course making sure that Vala could not get interrupted here. That worked as well, at least for them. The Immortal is claimed though, so not really the best fight here from Bubble Squad. They had their heroics up again. They were trying to go for the Strafe. I don't really feel like Tyrell had to really go for the Sanctification at that spot. I mean, I don't really think there was anybody who could have interrupted it. Sanctification, Sundering was down already. The only one who could have interrupted Vala was Muradin, and Muradin was not close enough to really threaten Vala and Strafe.
It really made no sense, and even then Muradin is using all his stuns on Immortal to abuse the level 4 damage talent.
Oh, nice!
Nice combo.
Nice force wall and good kill against ETF on top on his ETC. Immortal, of course, at this point can do a massive amount of damage. Styr is already very low, needs to get shielded, and he will be able to get some self-sustain in thanks to the Frostwolf resilience. They're just starting to move in again. Lumpy is low on his Li Ming, has to move back here. Stork again attack, needs to be careful. Red extras with one strafe after another. Sundering was back though, and that is the end of Vala. Very nice kill here. The keep also gone. Heroes a little bit low, but they still start to go for the pressure against the core. Two heroes are down, Vala and ETC, and with that Immortal, they can finish the game right now.
It's a really safe finish. Yeah. And like here, you can see that it would have been very different if Tyrell did not waste his Sanctification on the Immortal. Like, ETC might not have died on this engagement.
Yeah. Well played, and GG, a 2-0 victory now for Google against the Bubble Squad.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is GG and the end of another series here on Color TV with Heroes of the Storm. So once again, we have another video finished, and I hope that you enjoyed the commentary and that you liked the game, of course, as well. It was a pleasure casting the match for you. And if you guys really enjoyed it, then make sure that you give that video a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that too. If you have friends that are interested in Heroes of the Sports esports scene, then definitely recommend the channel to them, or just show them the video if they want to see like a bit how the pros are drafting here, especially of course when it comes to the North American scene, European scene. And I mean, these days we even have a couple of Chinese games on the channel here, so I hope that you enjoy that as well. That being said, thank you very much for watching again. I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here on the channel. Have a great day and enjoy your week, and see you soon. Bye bye.